Yeah.
You know, I hear women all the time like, I ain't gonna have sex with him because da 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 da, and I'm not gonna do this because da 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 da.
And I don't need a man. I don't need a man. Excuse me, rewind.
Right.
Who said that?
Girl.
Who said that?
Who said that?
Somebody said that?
You're against my religion.
Women, stop.
Stop. No women live here. Women empowerment. That's all that's happening.
That's it.
That's it.
Don't ever say you don't need a man.
We have to have the man. He's the other side of who we are. So we're not on that tangent. We want to just
so that's another conversation. We got so many more shows.
Girl.
I got one last thing to talk about. Were you done
Okay,
expressing yourself?
Okay, done.
Because I got something to ask
Okay, so
you
we
after
talked
this.
about the orgasm, right? Faking the orgasm.
So I got a question for you.
Okay.
Did you have something else?
I
I got
do.
a whole
I want
nother
to finish
subject
my
to talk
thought.
about.
Okay.
Yes, I want that.
Okay, so the orgasm component for me is, earlier I mentioned being a tantrika, and so in that I have
Not to be confused with Shaniqua.
Exactly.
Tantric.
And Shaniqua might be getting the tantrika on. Okay, I'm just
And
saying.
she may not know.
She may
that.
not even know it. She be like, "That's what
Tantric.
that's
sex.
what tantra is. Girl.
Okay,
I've
I
been
love
practicing
it.
it." So,
Oh my life, I didn't even know.
So for me, I have come to realize there is a distinction between man and woman that we all know.
Yeah.
But most of us have not really gotten into what are the distinctions. And one of the major distinctions in a intimate, loving connection is the design of woman is to have multiple orgasms. And multiple doesn't mean 2 or 3. Multiple means 25, 50, 100. We're designed to keep going. So what you'll notice is some women are like, what? That's too much. All I need is 1 or 2 and I'm straight and I'm sleep. That's because you've become a male inside.
That's it. Because all the DNA from your man.
Oh my God. And then you have taken on some of the things that his behaviors have projected onto you. Like he only needs 1. You as a woman is not designed for that. So I assert for the healing of your internal health is that you should be having multiple. And
that
then
is true.
Distinguish what an orgasm is versus coming. Right? So you might be squirting, that's considered a cum. Orgasm is from your toes to your head and all through your body, opening up your heart.
Period.
Men, now this is going to be really powerful. YouTube it, do what you need to do, find your life. But I'm just saying that men are designed to hold their orgasm.
I mean,
hold. This new thing called
you got to know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em. Yes,
Kenny Rogers, he understood. So I'm just saying that men. I'm not saying you never need to have an orgasm, but it depletes you. So then you can't even fulfill on the fulfillment of a woman who needs 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Right? Because your ass is snoring. That means that's a selfish lover.
That's a selfish lover.
So
that's a selfish lover.
All I'm saying is, men,
Hold
get your life,
get
check out your diet, notice your tum-tum.
Don't say the tum-tum, because when you say the tum-tum,
okay, we
talk about inches again. Because did you know when you lose, there's, and don't quote me on, you did know this.
I'm sorry. That's
when
why all my men predominantly are flat, skinny.
Okay, so now we're talking.
Oh, sorry. I'm coming back.
I don't know if you're coming back, Lolita. I don't know if you're coming back to Chicago. I don't know if you're coming back on the show. I don't know if you're coming back. No.
Just keep it real.
But seriously, that I read somewhere, and don't quote me on this, because honey, I've been drinking. But they say that if a man loses like so much belly fat, he'll gain an inch in his penis. Have you heard that?
I have.
You have.
I've heard that men have lost inches.
That's what I meant. Well, no.
Because they're gaining.
Oh no, I'm talking about when they decrease.
Oh, I'm clear.
Okay, yeah.
But
so
men
when
don't really know about decrease.
They know about gain. So every inch of belly you gain, so many inches of penis you lose. Put the plate down. Google it. That's the YouTube. Google it.
Yeah.
YouTube it. Google it.
Yeah. Get your facts right. Bottom line,
help a sister out. Help,
Come
eat
see
healthy.
Conda, get your detox on. If you need a little coaching, call a sister, get your life. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying.
Okay, great. Come to a cuddle party, book your
Do
next
something.
cuddle session.
We're gonna do a cuddle party though, together.
Let's do it.
I mean, guys, would you like to see us do a cuddle party together? We're better together. We're better together. Would you like to come to Chicago or wherever you fly us into?
And that can happen in March.
That can happen
I'll
in
be
March.
back.
We haven't discussed dates.
Well,
Girl.
it's going to have to happen in March because I'll be gone for 90 days.
What's the date? You better hi.
Huh?
I'm 17.
Okay, great. I know when you are.
Okay, I know you do.
The event is 19th.
Okay, great. So we all saw right. Okay,
so it'll be before the 17th.
Okay, hallelujah.
Yes, okay, great.
Thank you. Girl, here. Cheers. Honey.
Cheers.
We don't fight about nothing. Oh, I love it.
So back to the orgasm women. I'm just saying,
faking.
Stop sending crazy ass
messages.
messages to your men because we are the ones that lead that. They want to please. And we have taught
really
them
want to please.
how
That's
to
true.
be selfish.
Yes.
And they don't mean to be selfish because they really want to see you smile and be the best you. So you got to stop lying.
Stop your lying ways.
Stop lying, girls. Come on now.
Stop your lying ways.
Try 3-4 orgasms a day. That'll keep the doctor away.
For real though.
Oh, but seriously, fibroids.
Oh yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
So get healthy.
Pulling out your what is those things called? The internal piece that women are pulling out. The uterus.
Uterus.
Don't pull out your uterus, but that's happening because you're not properly getting it in.
You have to learn how to have sex, and that's a whole nother conversation.
I gotta say one more thing.
Okay.
So men.
Oh Jesus,
listen.
here we go.
Okay. So the reason why we brought up size and all that stuff is because internally the design of woman is for your penis to go in and burn and love away the hurts and the pains of women. I'm just saying.
I was gonna say that. I'm glad you said that. Go ahead.
Okay, great.
Because we're the same.
We're the same.
We're twins.
We're just
Okay,
saying.
thank
Just
you.
look a little
Just
different.
a little. We were actually twins.
Yes.
We tried to have that be notarized
Right.
and all that.
Yeah, we had a little pushback.
We had a little pushback.
Something about you
Tried
came
to
from
get-
a different mother.
And you came from a different father. But we're like, how come we can't be adopted? How come we can't be blood? I mean, we can do the blood sister thing. We tried it. Okay, so
then they came up with different ages, different
age. So y'all
Some
not
stupid
twins.
shit.
Some dumb stuff.
Okay.
Well, whatever.
But whatever.
They don't know about you.
Back
honey.
to
Go
the
ahead.
penis and healing, right?
Healing.
So,
Healing.
the penis
Healing.
is designed to go in and actually open up the woman. We as women are designed to take in the essence of your seed and manifest into existence everything. So, just a little
Conversation.
piece.
Love it.
Love it.
What do you think? And I don't know. What actually I do know because I know. I'm about to ask you something.
Oh my God.
I
not
know.
ready
This
to
is our
say.
last segment.
Right.
We'll have to.
We know how to talk, don't we?
Don't we?
Chatty Betty.
Jesus. Hallelujah.
Chatty Betty.
Chatty Betty.
Chatty Betties.
Our
You
last
got the
and
one?
final question. Hey,
Okay.
that's
Right.
it.
Okay.
Our last and final question is. Let me ask you.
Okay.
Have you heard of polyamory? Your hair went everywhere, Beyonce.
Everywhere. Well, I know a little bit about it.
And what do you think about it? Polyamory. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Polyamory. Having more than one lover.
Yes. And it's not even about lover.
Or partner. Loves. Okay.
That's a good distinction. Most people think, from my research and, me really being curious about this world, I have been very territorial, very monogamous in the past. So to be in a poly conversation has been very unique to me. So I've been very curious about it and have done a lot of research, right?
One more time.
A lot of research. Let's do a little click to that.
To research. Research is important.
So, in that, I have come to realize that poly means multiple loves and not to be associated with sex.
Okay, sex. Okay.
So it goes back to cuddling, right? Everything goes back. I'm just saying. And it's all about intimacy and relationship. Yes. So it's about having multiple loves, not multiple lovers.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people commingle swinger with poly thinking they mean the same. And they don't. No, it means to be
That's something totally different.
Totally different.
Say that again. And loud, so make sure everybody hears that.
Okay, everybody, are you ready? I'm not sure if you are, because I don't know if I was.
Drum roll, please.
All right. Okay, so the distinction is having multiple loves versus multiple lovers, and confusing it with swingers versus having relationships. So if you don't know what swingers are, that means swapping of mates,
and things.
Right? Tend to be more in marriages. There's an agreement, whatever the agreements are, but it's all wrapped around sex. Poly, on the other end, actually comes with 3 distinctions. So I'm certain you all, like she said, you're a sophisticated audience, so it's for those other people that you're going to educate.
Yes.
So so there is polygamy, right? Or polygyny, that's another word for it, which is a man who has multiple wives.
Wait, polygamy.
Polygamy / polygyny, they call it both ways.
Oh, they call so it's synonymous.
It's synonymous.
Okay. Okay. Wow, I've never heard of the other term.
I didn't either.
Polygyny versus polygamy, which they
it's
are
not
the
even
same.
Versus. It's slash.
No, I'm just like, okay, but they're the same. Really? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
It was news to me too. That's why I went into researching it. I was like, what is polygyny?
What's the difference? Okay, got it.
So they're using it interchangeably. So you have a man gets to have multiple wives, and usually it's hinged upon, repopulating the land of children, or it's
there's a purpose.
It's definitely purpose driven, and it's usually connected to religion.
It is.
Yeah, Muslims,
Hebrew Israelites,
Mormons, like that. Okay. Which is beautiful, and so some folks call them sister wives, and the sister wives are not sexually connected. I'm not saying they all aren't, because I didn't do that much research. But I do know that the intention is that they're not really sexually engaged. They
I've actually seen it work. I've seen
a lot of times.
I've seen it work where they're not, like you said, sexually active, but the whole premise behind it is that
you mean the women.
The women,
right?
The whole premise behind it is that, they're here and they are successfully a part of the collective and the team aspect of the unit.
Yes.
So therefore, if I have a kid, 1, and you have a kid, 1, and she has 2, 3 kids, our children have 3, 4 moms.
Come on now.
That are in your 3, 4 ass.
Ooh.
Do you understand? But our husband, see, for me, and I'm not saying I like one-on-one relationships. Right. I personally do.
We never got to monogamy, which is what she's talking about.
Okay. Okay. Well then, should I wait?
Yeah. Let's
wait. I'm good.
Because it's all.
Will we talk about monogamy?
We will.
All right. Please give me.
Because we gotta create the verses.
Okay. Go ahead.
Right, okay.
So back to I have seen the polygamy or polygyny aspect work. Just being in a space where I've seen the Hebrew Israelites have it work.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like,
and I see not only the Muslims or the Hebrew Israelites work, I've also seen it happen in, what did we just say they were? Mormons. I lived in Salt Lake, Utah, and it worked famously. So I do believe, especially if you're coming from that aspect of wanting it to be a unit and having everybody be balanced, it's really, really powerful. So next we have what's called polyandry, which is usually never in the United States of America specifically, or most places where you have a male dominancy, really moving in the community and culture. But polyandry is when a woman has multiple men. And we would never want to say multiple husbands. Right?
Shut your
mouth. So, of course, it's rare to find that, but it does exist. And so, personally, I've had an experience of being polyandrous because I always was like, I can handle more than one. And people are like connected it to sex again. I'm not saying you can't have sex. I'm saying it's not based on sex.
It's
based on
relationships.
Just like polygamy.
And I'm a relationship person.
Yes. And usually women can handle more than one man, but then we are considered hoes, cheaters,
skanks, all that,
and a whole bunch of other names.
Well, most animals in the animal community, except for the penguin, are not monogamous anyway. And we'll get to monogamy in a minute.
Yeah, she really,
but yeah. I keep because I'm on monogamy. I like that one. Me, you, let's go conquer. She, who, what? I'll kill her. No, just kidding.
So. And it's funny because even when I was in that relationship, men got with the program, and then about a year in, men began to fall off because their ego, right? Because we live in a culture that is male dominated, right?
Yes.
So, and so it's a woman really kind of the opposite of polygamy or polyandry, right? So it's just a reverse. So that's that. And then you have polyamorous. So polyamorous.
Girl, get your poly ass out of here. Is it another one? Poly.
Right? So poly means you're open to multiple loves. It could be same sex. It could be opposite sex. You could be in a marriage inside of a poly relatedness. Poly is all about many loves in relationship.
Okay.
So that doesn't mean that you might have, you can date. They really operate from knowing that you can love more than one.
Okay.
And most of us have been built on, you don't love me? Well, I'm going to let my whole world go. Yeah. So, I used to subscribe to that. I'm not saying I don't subscribe to that now, but I just, out of just researching and playing and toying with the idea, I'm not really fully on the court with the polyandry. I just chose not to swim upstream because it's just, males' egos are just way too much. So
it's overbearing.
It really is. So in this poly world, you really get to embrace like who your heart's calling to, and another person has to contend with. But just think about children. A mother with 4, 5, 10, 12 children. Does she just love the one kid? And each kid is fucking different. So first cuss word. Ooh.
The shame of it all.
Chicago stamped. Okay.
Chi-town, are you with me? You know it. You know it.
The ice there.
There you go.
So that is really allowing the person to be genuinely who they are, because your kids, you're gonna love them all, and they're all gonna be different. People, friends. Think about the 100,000 friends you have. You love them. Hundreds of thousands
of friends.
That will be she.
Point to me, please. 100,000 friends. I love them all.
Love them all. 100,000 different loves.
Love it.
Right?
Love them. Yes.
I'm different than whoever you were interviewing the last time.
Oh, absolutely.
Genuineness.
You are different than the person that I interviewed the last time.
Exactly. Yes. So all I'm saying is that why does, when it comes to love, we have to shut it down? Right? Which leads us to monogamy, which is so
monogamy. That's me. Monogamous. That's me. I love monogamy. May I talk about my favorite subject? The one that keeps me out of jail. Yes. I'm talking about monogamy here today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm talking about one-on-one love in this house.
Yes.
I love monogamy.
Yes.
And that's partly because I'm a traditionalist in a relationship.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
I love being with one person because my whole thing is that I'm not about to let a whole bunch of yous up in this at the same time.
Right.
So for me, I can be.
You're not even talking about sex. You're talking about.
I'm talking about because first of all, what kind of time? I don't have time to play the board. And I am one about a team, which is kind of may sound like a contradiction because I am one about a team because it does take a little poly to get me going. Like I like the energy of multiple people. But I am not about to have multiple sex.
Right.
Like for me.
Right.
I don't know because sex is so important to me.
But sex has nothing to do with poly.
It has nothing to do with poly, but if I'm talking about monogamy and I'm talking about and I'm talking about I'm talking about a monogamous relationship. A man, I'm a woman and a man, we are monogamous.
Yes.
There's no room for me for somebody else to enter the bedroom on my part or on his part.
Right. So you have restricted
I have shut that shit down.
Come. Right.
It's over now.
Right.
Like that.
Right.
However,
She said, however.
was my contradiction ass. I don't mind the energy of other men. It could be in the space of hanging out, having a glass of wine, communicating on the phone, being friends, doing business. And loving them in that, whatever that relationship is, and loving them authentically in that space. But I don't want to share myself with them if I'm in something real and in something special and I'm getting my needs met.
Right.
Huh?
Love it.
Getting my needs met. So for me, that's where I am with that. And then once I feel like I'm being the best, number one, you've ever had.
Right.
And I'm being like the army, all that I can be. To you,
sign up.
I'm every woman. Sign up.
Right.
You don't even need. I remember when I was in my 20s and I was in a situation with my ex-husband and we were in a community, the Hebrew Israelite community. At that time, I was involved with the group and the organization, which I love, which helped me sustain my veganism and taught me a lot about even more than, because I came to the table in the Hebrew Israelite community with vegan knowledge already. I was already a vegan chef and things of that nature, but they were a stand for health and wellness and veganism and community and empowering our people and a lot of stuff, and it aligned with my truth and very great. And so, and the other side to that is that they were able to have up to 7 wives. And so my ex-husband and I had 3 back-to-back children. They were stair steps, 1 year old, 2 years old, 3 years old. I'm like, okay. So for me, I was like, we need some help in the house. Help. And we need somebody to help. Not just anybody, but help. You hear me?
I'm with you, honey.
So I was like trying to... So I was open for the first time in my life, not just from a selfish perspective, and I was, partly, but I had an opportunity to see how the women were working together. Now, in my world, it's like, I'm not about to be dealing with him going in another room in the house, and you the upper room, you and her in the upper room. I'm like, I'm not about to deal with that.
Right. Okay.
Territorial. That's me. She, her. But when I looked at him, like, okay, they're supporting this man. Now, here's the thing. If I will ever, mark my words, if you guys ever witness me in a relationship where I am sharing a man, it better be the goddamn, I was going to say president. It better be something like the president. It better be a man who is up to something big. Like, I don't feel like a dude just on his willy-nilly should have 1 million women.
Right.
Stop it. What are you building? What are you conquering? What do you want in the world? What are you doing? Because sometimes if you are up to something amazing and big, you might need the support of different women.
Right.
We contribute differently. So, I mean, if I ever get to that space and get elevated in that conversation, whatever, it would have to be something like that.
Right.
You got to be the greatest man on the planet.
Right.
In the world. You got to be the greatest man in the world, because you might deserve to have multiple women. And if I feel like I want to be a part of that, then that's a decision I'll have to make. That's not who I am at the core. I am at the core a very traditional woman in a relationship. I think a man should be very, very great to his woman. I think she should be very great to her man. I think he should spoil her. I think it should be reciprocal. I think there should be love and tenderness and intimacy and all that.
Right.
And it should be one-on-one. If you decide to do more than one-on-one, then that's the agreement that because it doesn't make it right or wrong. It's about the agreement.
Absolutely.
What do you agree to?
Right.
If you're in a situation where you agree to be monogamous, be monogamous. I like that. Right. If you're in a situation you want to have multiple, maybe you both want to have multiple, maybe just the one of you meet. Whatever you agree, as long as you have that communication and you guys agree, nobody can come into your relationship and run it but you. Mm-hmm. So
that's true. You know, and that, I think, when it comes into a sexual conversation, while poly doesn't mean sex,
yeah,
it does mean you have choice. Mm-hmm. And so that's the big distinction to me between poly versus monogamy. Mm-hmm. In monogamy, you have made an agreement to give that choice up. Mm-hmm. And so, point blank, period. And so that is where you want to really get, like, in a poly relationship, who are you really relating to? Are they going to honor, you know, what's important to you and what's important to them? Do they have values that they're not philosophical, but they're actually leading from their heart? So I think that, you know, it takes a deepness of connection. I've been around a lot of monogamous relationships because that is primary in my world, because that's what I grew up on. So I know how to do monogamous with no brain. I don't know about the poly world because that has been so anti. So while I did it with the men and sexually, you know, because that's where people want to go always. You know, did you have sex with all of them? Did you do this? You did that?
Because you know why? Because people, when you say it's hard to have a distinction for people, because if you say that you are in a polyamorous relationship, you polyandry, you have multiple men,
right? Polyandry.
We're thinking about the man. He's gonna want to hit all of this, each and every one of them.
What are we thinking about again?
We're thinking about the man. He's gonna want to hit all this. Right. Now the woman, like in my case, I like being with one person sexually. I may hang out, I may have business dealings, I may have a business meeting, a lunch, or so I may just kiki on the phone with one of my male friends. But I only want one man entering me at a time. And not at a time, like, okay, you okay, Ted, you're next. No, not like that. But just in the course of it all. Like, this is it. This is the season.
Yeah, and I think it's just become a negative connotation, even. It can be. You know what I mean? So a preference, which is what I hear you saying, I have a preference of just one-on-one versus really, like, not like that. What the hell does not like that? I was talking to a friend recently, and he had brought to my attention that a friend of his who had this beautiful woman. I mean, she's super, super gorgeous, super helpful, super intelligent, just a gem. And he said that he thinks that her guy found out about her past. I was like, so what past?
What was her past?
And so he was like, well, she had been with other men, you know, not like just sexually, but I guess in this community. And I just went livid. That is her body. She gets to do whatever the hell she wants with her body. And why are you judging and assessing her? Who the hell? You've been with multiple women, and we know about it. And you probably cheated on her. So my whole thing is that, you know, we are all sovereign beings, and we get to be at choice with what we want. Then there's a thing called commitment. So if you're going to commit to one individual and give up the choice, be with the commitment, not with no, like, what she used to be and what she did with her body. She gets to do whatever the hell she wanted to buy.
Be with the commitment and give up the choice.
There you go.
The choice is, once you commit,
boop. In a monogamous relationship, you're saying
let your integrity be a part of it. Let your commitment be a part of it. Your choice,
one-on-one.
This is what you're doing.
This is it. And you're also giving up a certain emotional connection to people. That because there's emotional cheating. I mean, I remember after being polyandrous and with the same person who at the end I ended up with one beautiful gentleman that I was with for very long.
Do I know he? Is that the one I know? Is this the one
prior
before?
to? Yeah.
The whole how Naja came.
Yeah, no, after that. Yeah. Anyway, that's
okay, it's another
right. So that's a whole nother show in itself. But
Jesus.
But inside of that, you know, he began to have amnesia because he felt like I was having an emotional relationship with a gentleman, and he was right because I didn't see it, but he was right. I was having because I was feeling the gaps of what wasn't present.
Yes.
So, and I thought, well, sexually, I'm not engaged, so I'm not cheating because we reverted back into a monogamous relationship.
Oh.
And so, honey, he let me have the 5th degree. And that's when I realized, and I began to see it, open my eyes to most men are more afraid of emotional relationships, where the poly comes from, than just sexual relationships. While they do not want their woman, you know, fraternizing, they really don't want you snuggling up on the phone with another gentleman. That is equal or more intimidating.
That's more intimidating.
Yeah, so just think as a woman, you know, do you want your man snuggled up with somebody? You're just like, I'm just talking.
And you know what they say? You're not just talking because I know what he wants. Because I'm a man. I know what he's thinking. You might be just talking. He's really, really the predator.
Right. So to speak.
Right. From a man's perspective.
Right.
Honey child, honey
And
boo.
so that's what I want to just, you know, close my own thought on, is that nobody's being a predator. I just assert
but that's how men relate to other men.
I know. That's my point. That no men are being predators. Women aren't being predators either. I just assert, because we have singled it down to this monogamy conversation, unwilling to allow us to look at really what choice we're at and be authentic with it, and be willing to hear the no of a woman like yourself who doesn't want that, and be willing to let it go and be with somebody who is. Like, it's selfish across the board. So if we want to be free and expressed and full of freedom, you have to allow others to do the same. And so that's why I'm curious about the whole poly world. While I've mastered monogamy, I'm not certain if that truly works for me either. So
on that note, you gonna end it on that?
Yeah, because I hope what you're left with is did you divert back to sex, right? Because most of us do. Even in these conversations we've just had, you know, it always tends to be a sex conversation. I want to challenge us all to move away from the sex communication, deal with the emotional connection. That can sometimes be as or more intimidating.
I get it.
Yeah.
I love you.
I love you too.
Lolita Thomas, the Wake Up Now artist. This has been a very, very fun show for me.
Me too.
I'm so happy. And I've learned a lot.
Me too.
And I'm inspired to go and be and do more. I'll take a look at another perspective around the poly stuff. I mean,
world, watch out!
Maybe.
Are we ready?
I mean,
okay.
But the thought was great. I'm monogamous. I'm sorry. I am. But not a true monogamous, I guess, because I do like the company of multiple people. But when the lights go off,
see, she's back to
Sex.
Everybody says.
See, I can't do
And that's what I'm gonna stand for, is to uncommingle that.
Uncommingle that. Okay.
So the reason why I heard you said you might be open to poly is because you said I'm open to multiple intimate. She didn't say intimate, but intimate.
But that's what it is.
It's emotional.
It's emotional, and I am an intimate person.
Right.
So I'll take a look at that.
Yeah.
I'll get back with your number. I got your number, don't I? Do it. It's 223 555. All right, so guys, thank you for joining us. We have had a show for you today. We are so excited that we were able to come together and help you in any kind of way that we were able to help you in. Any questions you have, please put in the comments below. Please comment below. I am use your voice. If you don't use it, you will lose it. I am Conda, Sexy Vegan Wine Girl on all social media. And I want you to follow me, comment, like, and share. Don't be selfish. Just share. We have a bunch of fun. If you're serious about having an amazing life starting in this January 2020 and the whole freaking year and thereafter, please subscribe to my channel and find me on social media. If that is your truth, do the same for my sister, because honey, she is amazing as well. As you have seen, honey, she is all of that in the back. I cannot get enough of this lady. Please let everybody know how to follow you again.
So Facebook, Lolita Elizabeth Thomas, Wake Up Now. Definitely like our page. And really ask yourself, are you an authentic type? I think we all think so until we look at our behaviors. So if you look at your behaviors and you say, yeah, I am, then go ahead, like us, reach out to me, call me, 510-457-6754. I'm bringing it back to the basics. Human connection, right? So I'm a social bunny too, and I'm a human bunny. So make a human connection with me.
There you have it. There you Cheers, darling. I love you. There you have it.
Love it.
Comment, share. We love you. God bless you. Good night.